I had no warning when the Gestapo came in for me. No goodbye to my family or to the one I loved, and with nothing but the clothes on my back. You have idea, no idea how terrifying it was. You see, someone denounced me.
This is absolutely one of the most compelling and, for me, fresh perspectives from that era that I have seen in a long time. There are lots of stories, each more grueling than the last from that time. This one is no exception, heart wrenching, gritty, real. But at least for me, from a perspective I had yet to see, I thought it was really well put together, just a strong narrative sensibility here, great filmmaking quality too. Everything really felt grounded and real and just of the era. All in all, great job. I can't overstate that.
This was a Holocaust story unlike anything I've ever heard before. I thought it was a really strong piece. They did an amazing job of telling David's story and capturing all the emotions. It was intense and sad and just really emotional. At the beginning, I was expecting a documentary with just an interview, and I think that would have been compelling enough on its own. But the inclusion of the flashback was a great choice. It was a great way to tell that story, and there are some really wonderful technical elements here. I love the visual contrast between the two time periods. I think they did that really well. The score was great. The acting was really good too. And I was just shocked to hear the information at the end, how long they were in prison for after the war ended. It was just so heartbreaking. But I'm glad to have seen this and to know this. And I hope this piece gets seen because it's so important. It was so good.
Wow, what a very difficult and very powerful piece this was. It's absolutely heartbreaking. I knew about the oppression of the homosexuals in the Holocaust, but I didn't know about this, that they were that once when they were freed, they were taken to other prisons because of anti-gay laws. This man was in jail until the 1970s. This is man, this was really hard. I mean, that's just so belittling to say it's really hard. I mean, I don't have the words for it. I don't have the words for how terrible this is. Um, I'm glad for this film to be made because it made me aware of some things that I didn't know about. I want to thank the filmmakers for that. I want to thank this gentleman who came on camera to tell us all about this. This was a very brave thing for him to do, to tell this story. So difficult, so difficult. I remember my mother telling me when I was a kid. I think a lot of us have been told, but I remember specifically my mom saying it the first time: is those memories need to be kept alive so they don't happen again. And so that's what we're doing here. We're keeping the memory of this terrible event alive so that it's not repeated. Um, but this is a wonderful job. The filmmakers did a great job here. The actors in the reenactment portions did a great job. It was well photographed, written, and edited.
I thought that No Goodbyes was a very poignant and compelling film. I think that that is in large part due to the way it's organized as both a narrative and an interview with David Lenga. I haven't had the opportunity to watch many stories or hear many stories of Holocaust survivors who are both gay and Jewish. And I think that this is an important story to share for that reason. Watching the film, found myself considering and trying to imagine what it must have felt like to be have feelings for someone who is in a position of power over you and who so entirely controls your safety, and to at the same time have a complete hatred and mistrust of that person as well. And I think that looking at that dynamic from both sides, from the prisoner and the captor, is was upsetting to watch, but also ultimately very compelling.
The dynamic between the documentary aspect mixed with the flashback that was the actual film was a well executed idea by the filmmakers. I think it was a great way to tell the subject's story, mostly because it's our world's history, but also his personal history, and it didn't take from the fact that the story, even though it's about World War II and the Holocaust, it's personal to him, and you really feel it as a viewer. And I thought that was well done. The shot compositions in the flashbacks, the acting, the lighting, everything was just well done. They know what they wanted to do and they executed it really well.
It was so heartbreaking and so powerful, and it really highlights a experience and a part of the Holocaust that I feel like is often not touched upon enough. I know I learned a lot from the story, and I just thought it was so well done, not only in the cinematography and but the costume design and set design as well felt very real and very believable for the time period. And I think it's just something that more people should watch and learn about because, I mean, I didn't know a lot of what the kind of gay experience was like during the Holocaust. So I really appreciated being able to watch this.
This one is wild. It's a super powerful story, and the fact that you're able to take this like firsthand account is absolutely, it like leaves you speechless. I think, just to speak on the actual filmmaking aspects of it, it's always tough to do a period piece because you kind of want to, you can't have you can't like transform a whole city, and so I think it was smart to stick with a very limited cast and a limited like space, and so I think that was some crafty filmmaking done, and yeah, the performances really put everything over the top. I think that sold this really heavy short.
Wow, what a powerful story and very well told. The reenactments were really well put together. The performances I thought were really good. I thought the moments selected, obviously from the survivors recounting of his story, were well chosen to tell the important parts of his story in a way that is more visceral and more easy to absorb by reenacting it instead of just hearing him talk about it. So yeah, I thought that was well presented, well scripted, well directed. Every part of it was really nicely done. And yeah, it's a story obviously that not many people know about. I had never heard of these concentration camp survivors who just weren't released because of these draconian laws that geez, we're still around into the 90s. Just awful, terrible. And I think his warning is sound at the end that these forces that were working against him most of his life are still out there. And yeah, we need to know these stories so we can hopefully recognize when it's happening again and not let these people be not these just the people in this story, but anyone be persecuted for who they are and how they want to live their lives.